Everybody has something to offer. Some people might not believe that statement, and that's their personal choice or personal opinion. But when you really think about it, everybody, no matter what age they are, has something to offer. Now, if you really analyze and dissect that statement, everybody has something to offer, really internalize it and look at it, and you will see that everybody really does have something to offer. And it doesn't matter how young or how old they are. For example, you can have a newborn, and even if that baby has just been born, even if the baby hasn't been born, they have something to offer. When they're in the womb, they offer promise and hope for that couple having the baby. And if you've ever been around a newborn or held a baby, they have an amazing gift. They really take you into that present moment and make you forget or just lose sight of the past or the future, because that baby's presence is so overwhelming in a good way. And they don't have to speak any words or give you any advice. But when you look into a baby's eyes and you see them smile or giggle, that is offering you feelings of joy. That is telling you that there's hope and there's promise for the future. And these offerings that we can bestow on other people can come in the form of just our presence, but they can also come in the form of advice through words, and they can also come from our actions. Just like somebody's presence can be positive, they can also offer positive advice or carry out positive actions. But at the same time, there's also the exact opposite. Somebody can have a negative presence or offer negative advice or carry out negative actions. Because they're both considered offerings, somebody is actually offering something in both cases, but it's up to the individual to decipher what is negative and what is positive. Because in both instances, we can learn. You can learn from somebody giving you positive advice. You can learn from someone giving you negative advice. You know what you should do in a situation or moving forward. And if you get that negative information or negative advice, you can hear it out, but then you realize that it doesn't help you. And even though it doesn't help you, you know what not to do, and that helps you grow as well. So we need to understand, we need to recognize these offerings and whether they're positive or negative, because from there we can understand the message and use it to grow and evolve. I'm not a big fan of negative. I don't like to think negative thoughts. I don't like to talk in a negative tone. I really don't like to manifest it or bring it into existence. But in reality, there's negative out there. There's negative people, there's negative words, there's negative situations. So although I don't like to talk about it, it needs to be addressed. And like I said, people can offer negative advice or their negative presence or carry out negative actions. It's just reality. It happens. But we need to be able to be equipped with the correct tools to combat those situations, those people, those words. Because yes, those are considered offerings because people are offering you something. But if it's negative, you need to understand it, identify it, and then let it go. On the other hand, I am so passionate about talking on the positive thoughts, the positive words, the positive actions that people can offer. Because when somebody offers positive advice or has a positive presence about them, or they carry out a positive action, whether it's right in front of your face or if you see it from afar, that can have a ripple effect. That can affect change immensely. And if a person sees it, hears it, or feels it, it allows them to internalize and maybe take a step back and reflect and see where they need to change, what they might need to work on. Or it can give them the strength and the courage and the hope to be better, to do better. Because sometimes we, or even myself, I'll speak about myself, failed to see the courage, failed to see the strength that I had inside of me. It took words from other people. It took actions from other people. It took the presence of other people for me to realize that I had this courage and I had this strength. And I didn't know about it because I failed to look in. I was unable to really see what I had. But from the outside, looking into someone else or having a different perspective on it, it clicked. And I realized that these positive offerings that someone was bestowing on me really helped me grow and helped me evolve. And it's such a beautiful thing. I'm a firm believer that you can't keep it unless you give it away. Which means you can't keep those feelings of happiness, those feelings of joy, those feelings of freedom, unless you give it away, share it, offer it to another person. Because that's what it's all about. It's that human to human connection, offering somebody something that you might have achieved or experienced, and giving them the opportunity to experience that through your strength and through your hope. So one day, they might not just be where you are, but they might be better off than where they are at that moment. They can help themselves grow and evolve by hearing what you had to share, by hearing your story. Because we all have a story. We all have a past. We all have experiences that molded us and made us the person that we are today. And if we don't share it and we hold on to it, then we're being selfish. We're not allowing ourselves to share it, to be generous, because we never know who we might affect when we give it away, when we share it, when we offer it. And that can come in the form of your presence. You might just have a really good aura around you, or a really good presence, and when you walk in the room, you can affect change. You can help somebody go from being on the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, or maybe even just even. And your words, your advice can definitely help somebody that might be in a rut, or that might think there's no way out. And at the same time, if somebody sees you carrying out a positive action, whether it's your friend or a complete stranger, hey, it might restore their faith in humanity. It might make them understand that there are good people out there. And it will possibly make them want to do the same. Might want them to be positive and pay it forward with their actions, their words, and their presence. So we really need to share our story. We need to give it away so we can ultimately keep those feelings of happiness, of joy, and freedom, and have that inner peace. So we need to be diligent in our understanding of what someone is trying to offer. It could be positive, it could be negative, but it's up to us to figure out what it is, what place it might hold in our life, and either let it go or use it. But when it comes to you, the individual, and how you live your life, I think it's best if you try to offer your story and be positive and have a positive presence. Give positive advice to people and carry out positive actions. Because if we keep it to ourselves, we're not allowing ourselves to help somebody else, which in effect will help ourselves. And then it'll become a domino effect, because if everybody's helping somebody else and they're helping themselves, this world would be a much nicer place to live in. But the only person that you can control is yourself. So share your story, offer advice, offer your presence, offer positive and uplifting actions. Because when you do so, you'll not just help that person, you'll help yourself. And remember, you can't keep it unless you give it away. So be generous with your story. Be generous with your experiences. Offer your services. Offer positive words, a positive presence, and carry out positive actions. Because you never know who you might affect and help. And then in turn, you'll help yourself. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Have an amazing and blessed day, everybody. Be grateful. Always be grateful for this moment and smile. I'll see everybody soon. Peace.